next guest tonight is a 77-year-old citizen of New York City who foiled a bank robbery right on 68th Street in Manhattan earlier this week. Please welcome Samuel Folsom. You prefer to be called Sam, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Tell us, right off the bat, what happened in the bank on Monday?
I walked into the bank, went over to a customer's desk, doing some paperwork, and this bank is kind of like a mausoleum. There's no one in there under my age. It's always very quiet.
It's where the older people like to hang out.
Where we older people like to hang out. And I heard a noise, and you don't hear noises in the Jamaica Savings Bank. It's always very quiet. I looked up.
Okay.
I looked up to see what the noise was, and behind one of the teller's windows, there was a man with a stocking cap, black stocking cap, aviator's dark glasses, and a turtleneck sweater pulled up under his eyes. And I thought, gee, that's strange in the Jamaica Bank. And seriously, I thought it was a TV program at first. I said, no, they should have told us they were doing something in here. And then I realized he was scooping money out of the drawer, putting it in a plastic bag. And at this point, I heard someone say, it must have been him, but I couldn't see because his mouth was covered, open the drawer, give me the cash. And he was scooping it out. And at this point, I have a keen grasp for the obvious. I realized something was wrong.
Although in New York, that's how even legitimate customers talk to the teller, probably.
Yes.
Give me the cash, yeah, let's go. So what did you do?
I decided I'd better get out of there. So I walked out of the bank. I carefully didn't run because I felt sure he must have somebody at the door, but he didn't. I got outside, went to a cab, knocked on the window. Cab put the window down. I said, call the cops if you got a radio. There's a bank robbery in there. I knew he thought I was drunk. He looked at me.
I get that a lot, too.
I can't believe it. And I said, well, I used a little bit stronger language. Told him again, and he drove off. It turned out later that he had just driven out of gun range and called the cops.
Right, right.
But
for all you know, he's just taken off and he's not going to help.
I thought I was gone, too. So I walked, actually ran half a block north, and there was a police car up there. And I ran over to it. It was empty. So I blew the horn, and
Don't tell me they were getting a snack.
No, there was no snack place there.
Good,
it was some retail store, but they came rushing. They came rushing out to grab me for blowing the horn, I think. But the minute I said robbery down there, and I was very calm, my voice was exceedingly calm. And
but you did this. This
yeah,
means robbery.
I did that.
That's robbery. The universal sign for robbery in progress. And so
they immediately, they didn't even question me. I thought they had grabbed me for being drunk too, but they ran down to the corner, and as they ran to the corner, I was behind them. These guys were both about 200 pounds, about 6 feet tall.
Okay.
So I couldn't see anything. I was behind them.
So the guy runs out of the bank, and they tackled him, I guess.
Well, he ran out of the bank and started down 68th Street, and they angled across the street and caught him alongside a building about 100 yards away.
Right. And was that the end of your involvement?
No, that was the beginning.
What happened then?
Well, there was a bit of wrestling on the ground and banging him against the fence, and he was fighting like mad because I really couldn't believe it. These two big officers were having a hell of a job controlling him. They really couldn't.
Right.
And
they couldn't handcuff him, I guess.
No, and when they had approached him first, they both had their weapons out.
Right.
They had him down at their sides, very calmly down at the side, pointing at the ground, so there was no question of aiming at him. They just didn't know whether he was armed or not.
Right.
And when they realized he wasn't armed, they were stuck in a position where they had to control him with one arm each.
Right.
So they had to reholster the gun.
So what did you do?
Well, at this point, the shot went off. I ran up and grabbed an arm.
You grabbed this guy's arm?
Well, these policemen had him. Don't misunderstand me. They had him fairly well under control, but they couldn't get the right arm cuffed to the fence. Every time...
But still, I mean, I would be watching from a trash can with the lid barely... Get him! You know, you got a lot of guts.
No, my wife accuses me of being insane, so...
Well, at least she didn't accuse you of being drunk, which seems to be the standard. Before we...
I'm starting to wonder, does the neighborhood see you drunk a lot?
Yeah, I think they do.
Accusing you?
We're out of time, but before... Did you get a reward?
Only this program.
Hey, wait a minute, wait a minute! Wait a minute! Wait a minute! Wait a minute, why when you said only this program did the audience go, oh, it's worth a lot of money being on this show? You'll see, big things will happen for you now. Mr. Folsom, thank you so much for coming, and it's a great story. It really is. And you're a great citizen of New York. We need more people like you. Thank you very much for doing it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Samuel Folsom, everybody. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. That was terrific. All right, everybody. That's our show of the night. I do want to thank our guests. Stay tuned for later. We're going out on patrol. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.